New Zealand Rugby Football League, 1961. Flicker flashbacks. The tour of England and France by the 1961 Kiwis. Directed by Snow Telford and the late Colin Siddle. Narrated by Tom Hatfield, Jack Fagan, Don Hammond and Speedy Reedy.
This is your captain, Don Hammond, speaking. We are flying Auckland to Mandy, Honolulu, San Francisco, New York and London at 600 miles per hour at 37,000 feet and 12,982 miles to travel. This is our Boeing Jet 707 carrying 139 passengers.
This is San Francisco. We've arrived. Some of the boys standing outside the bus at Twin Peaks, which is 9,000 feet high. There's a gardens in the background, some controversy whether it's Japanese or a dahlia garden. That's a Japanese one there, Jack. I reckon it's a dahlia. Looking out over San Francisco, and shortly we will see the Golden Gate Bridge. It's the world's largest single span, and it's got a 3-foot diameter wire on each side. Those are the toll gates, very similar to the old toll gates on the old Auckland Harbour Bridge entrance. That's W.L. Snowden, as you can see, with his Alcatraz gear on.
And here we are after a long trip in the plane, arriving in Ilkley. And this is a map of the local township, and you can see outlined there in the red the various walks that we had during our stay there.
Well, they're actually the roads in the red, and the green are the moors, and you can see down the bottom the tarn, and up the top is the swimming pool area. Those roads look a lot straighter than the ones I used to walk home.
Flatter as well. Here we are.
Now here we are in the local town of Ilkley, looking down one of the streets.
The Grove.
That's the main road, the Grove. Now we're looking down Brook Street with the railway bridge over the main road.
Which is no longer there, it was removed about 1970.
And here's some of the cars of that vintage.
An A55.
Another shot of Ilkley with, I think it's Billy Snowden in the foreground there.
It's quite an unusual combination for a shop. Fish and fruit.
Looks like 1882, Tom.
Tom's showing us his photography skills here with a bit of colour from the trees. What's the name of this walk, Jack? I don't know what this one is. Most probably I didn't ever use that one. I went in the bus. Promenade to the... And here's the church lit up for some special occasion at Ilkley. They knew I'd drive. It's an Anglican church. And I don't know what the peacock was doing there, but it's pretty well lit up too. That's on the Catholic church.
And here we are at home at the Troutbeck Hotel, where we put down our roots for the next 2 or 3 months.
The top left-hand corner window was the bridal room, shared by Mel Cook and Don Hammond. And just below them, I think it's Billy Snowden looking out the window. Here's Tom's favourite menu from the Ilkley. It certainly looks better than it tasted, I can tell you that.
This is looking at the hotel window around to the right. It's a typical shot of the English countryside. The back of the Troutback Hotel again, with a few of the players lined up to get their Buckner sports gear, and the Stony Lee, which could probably tell a few stories, and up on the right hand corner, the Cow and the Calf, where people used to climb the rocks.
One or two of you may recall that a certain person fell down the bank there just close to that hotel. And here's the Craiglands Hotel, one we didn't go to very much, but I understand the All Blacks stayed there on their tour of England.
There's a team photograph, and you can pick out some of the pretty faces there. See Bondi's crooked nose from here.
Come on, who else can you see in there? There's Jimmy Patterson, Alan Amer, Rada, Tom Hatfield, Reg Hart, above him Billy Snowden, Jimmy Bond, is that Neville Tiller? Gary, Roger,
and
Brucey Castles,
Kenny McCracken.
Down the front,
Eddie Winner was good looking.
Mel, and Colin Siddle, Donnie and Snow.
And that Bruce, I think that's Brucey in the corner there.
Brucey in the corner.
A likely looking lot.
Yeah, I don't remember this.
Starting off with Neville Tiller, Munga, Sam, Brucey, Brian Lee.
Conker.
That's Rada, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rada. Yeah.
Billy Snowden,
Alan Amer in the right hand.
Brian Lee, yeah, Roger, Brucey Castle in the front.
Winning another heart.
Jimmy Patterson. Hands in pockets.
They're coming right. Here's Colin and receiving his Buckner football gear. And Snow with a little girl from the hotel.
The landlady's daughter.
And dog. Who knows where this is?
We think it might be Darwin.
We're not sure. We know it's not Hong Kong.
I wonder if it's Rangoon.
And here's a fine shot of a
bit overdressed, I think, for the day.
Note the racy shorts and the tie.
Hello. Now who is this? Young Speedy Reedy on the dapple grey.
Not going very far.
Yours truly holding the bridle. Jimmy Bond at the back.
On the move now.
Tell us the story about it bolting after this happened.
I seem to recall that shortly after this photo the horse took off and went down the moors and suddenly threw me over.
Never to be seen again.
Fully recovered.
Billy and myself outside the glass house at the Troutback.
Eddie Waring's Jag, fronted by Sam, Rata,
Kenny McCracken.
Yeah.
And there's Tommy behind the bar. He's not too sure which bar it is, so if someone can tell us, we'd be delighted.
Not ringing too much up on the till.
Reg Cook, Jimmy Ford, Neville Tiller. It's Munga in the background, the concert
Ron
party.
Duffy on the left. Jimmy Ford, the Tika Seeker.
And
Reg Cook.
And Mel at the right.
Bit of deep heat for the old knee.
Yeah.
And the last cigarette I ever had.
Here's a shot of the dog and Billy.
Pick the player. Billy was accused of murder.
And here's Jack and...
Trying to win his week's wages was Jack here. Very serious game of...
That's Brian Lee's head, Kenny McCracken, Roger in the background.
This looks like breakfast.
Billy Harrison in the foreground.
Munga, Jimmy Patterson.
Oh, that's a good photograph.
You like that, Don? I thought you would.
It's Gary
in the middle. Sheila. We're at Blackpool now.
We're now in the west coast of Lancashire.
On our way to Blackpool, we passed this windmill. You would have thought you were in another land.
We thought Tom had taken a quick weekend to Holland.
That's what he did.
Blackpool, Tom?
Yes, Blackpool shot, yeah. Well, there's the Blackpool Tower. How high is it, Jack?
Well, I reckon it's around about 984 feet high. I might be out an inch or two.
And the Blackpool Pier with the locals and a few tourists there trying their luck at a bit of fishing.
See if they can catch their dinner.
Another shot of the Blackpool Tower.
Which is 984 feet high.
When the wind blows.
Tommy's showing us his skills again as a photographer. Magnificent shot of the sunset looking out towards Ireland.
Jock in the foreground with the rocking boat in the background. Here it is lit up at night.
This is a cable car ride in Blackpool. Most of these shots for the next 7 or 8 at Blackpool. What's that, Tom?
That's the merry-go-round in slow motion, and that's it speeding up a bit.
Not too many people there that night.
I think that's at the South Pier, isn't it? I don't remember. I don't think I got down that far.
It was fairly deserted, all right.
This will be along the main drag.
And this is the gondola which used to carry the passengers up and down the main street at Blackpool. And the Mississippi steamer.
The pocket rocket. All lit up with light bulbs.
And that's it disappearing in the background. The magic storybook. Cinderella watering the flowers on the left, and that's Jack going up the hill
With Jill.
with Jill. And the Can-Can girls, you can see them flicking their dresses up in the air, all done with lights.
And here we are back at Ilkley for our daily walk down to the football grounds for training.
Men at work.
That's the bottom of Brook Street, with a good sign there, drink a pint of milk a day.
Which most of us did.
And the recreation area on the left hand side of the new bridge, where it's quite a popular spot. And on the right hand side, the river wharf with the football training area, and possibly I think it's the swimming pool over the back, isn't it, Speedy?
Yes, it is.
And the tree that we used to pass under on the way to the training.
Here we are changing. We didn't have changing sheds in those days. We used to change out in the open. And you can see a few players there. There's Reg Cook, Brian Lee, there's Reg Hart, Alan Amer, Jimmy Patterson, Mel Cook,
Billy
Jock.
Snowden in the foreground.
Jock in the background.
Bondi and Mel again.
Another Maris jersey.
That's Neville Tiller. Maris jersey.
What's that? Oh. Ponsonby jersey, must be Dodger.
And Jack.
Oh, it's young Jack, young John Edward.
That's Ron Duffy, I think, in the Maris
It
one.
is too. There's Roger the Dodger.
Slim looking monger there.
Munger in the right corner.
Alan Amer next to Roger.
Jimmy Patterson, Ron Duffy,
Mel Cook.
Mel, Neville Tiller, Speedy Reedy, Jimmy Bond.
He is awake. He's just pretending to be asleep.
Learning the language.
Here we are playing touch football, warming up for the practice.
It'll be Jimmy Ford.
Looks a bit serious.
We're all dressed up to go to a game here. And Jack Bentley. Who was Jack Bentley?
He was a sports writer for the Daily Express. There's Neville Tiller in the middle again.
Yeah.
Graham Kennedy.
The world's greatest.
Yes.
Signing autographs. And there's the haka being performed before the big game, and we're not too sure who the leader of the haka was there.
And who are we playing? And who's the man lying on the ground?
It was Speedy Reedy, I think.
No, that's not me.
It must be either Speedy or Tommy
Tommy.
Hatfield.
No, I took the photo.
There's a few bowed heads and coming off there on the Kiwi side. It might have been a defeat, that one. And we still haven't worked out who we're playing. Some thought it might be Castleford. Castleford, you remember, had a white jersey with the black and yellow band.
I wonder if it was Woodness. It was the first game.
Homeward bound in the bus. Might have been a victory, that one, by the V signs. Maori concert party in the back. Sam on guitar. Was Munga on guitar, is it?
And everyone in their regular suits.
Yeah.
That looks like an official occasion there, with Jock doing his best to get into the photo.
Yes, the concert party.
Rata was missing. I don't know where Rata was.
He's lying out on the back seat.
He's probably looking for Collins cheese.
Now, they reckon these two blokes were very close on tour. We'd like a few opinions on that afterwards.
Alan Amer in the background.
Sparrow there.
There's Farrah Farrah.
Not too sure who that chap is in the front. He looks like an imposer.
Here we are up on the Pennines. You remember those little
Cauliflower
walks? They used to stop the bus and say, walk for a mile or two and we'll pick you up in the bus.
Well, we would have had a meal at Mont Ceres, and we would walk along the moors for a couple of miles, and the bus would come along and pick us up, and we'd be on our way again.
Delicious meal of steak, 1/4 of an inch thick, and cauliflower, 1 potato.
We shot across the moors, going from Yorkshire to Lancashire and down into Manchester.
And the Manchester Ship Canal,
Did you say Ship Canal?
something like that.
And here's Tom showing his skills on the billiard table. That was in the basement of the Troutbeck Hotel.
Shark in the park, eh?
Another shark in the park, Jock.
There's Jock giving it a bit of a nudge.
Here he goes again.
Definitely for the camera.
But we also had time to have a game of cricket with the locals there.
Organised by Colin Siddle, who enjoyed his cricket very much and is having his dome polished for posterity by Snowden.
He looks quite relaxed, Colin, there.
Here we are at the local swimming baths, which were a very popular place for the team in the early part of the tour.
When the sun was shining.
You can see it was quite popular.
Here are a couple of local lassies showing us how to dive. Even could do a backward one, but anything that they could do, the Kiwis could do better. Who do you think we've got here in mid-air? Your guess.
Looks like young Roger.
It's got to be Don going in, with Jock in the background.
There's Mel going in.
Yeah, yes. Must have been the forwards day, eh?
We just reckoned they hadn't had a wash for a while. Now there's a real feat of strength there.
We're not too
Where did
sure
they
who's
get
on
these
top.
shorts?
Well, there's the bathing beauties. Roger, Gary and Billy in their leopard skins.
I think Bill's just either completed a back flip or completed something. A look of strain on his face.
Jack doing all the work as usual.
Not the Brighton Pier, it's the Ilkley Baths. Who have we got there? Ken McCracken, Ron Duffy, gone.
Right, we're at the River Wharf now, which flowed right through the middle of Ilkley. And it was quite picturesque. That's the old bridge, which is actually condemned, but it's still there for people to walk over to get to the other side. And a typical shot of the English countryside. And this is the road going down to Bolton Abbey.
We're not allowed to say anything from now on. Tom's historian regarding Bolton Abbey.
When was it built?
Oh, I'd have to have a stab at that. I'd say about 1399.
Well done, Jack.
It is really quite an amazing place, really, and very picturesque with the river winding around in an S shape right around it. And the river's not very deep, but it's certainly a very beautiful part of England.
And here we are up in the Lake Districts now. We went up there for 3 or 4 days, and I think we're on Lake Windermere at the moment. There's a group of chaps on the wharf.
We actually stopped at Keswick at the Royal Oak Hotel, which was a very old hotel.
Barrow and Furnace, the shipyards. The boat, the British Prestige, built in approximately 10 months at cost of $3 million.
Right, we're at the Cow and the Calf now. This is where all the locals used to come on the weekends to do a bit of scaling up the mountains.
That's not Gordon Dryden, is it? Good God,
Looks
no.
a bit like him.
No, by gee, it could be too.
We were out of bounds here. Snow wouldn't let us go up there and do any training up here. And this is the Tarn and the Troutback, our hotel, just on the left-hand side.
Tom's going to tell us why he put this one in.
Quack. The sunset over the Tarn.
Tom stayed there all day that day to take that photo.
Tell us about the Scottish soldier that used to get up there and play with his bagpipes. Brian?
I can't remember.
I can remember running up there the first Sunday.
That's just up on the moors out through the back.
Remember having a little sprint down these paths? A few broken ankles and skinned knees and
Good for the ankles.
wrenched.
The White Wells. We're at Levens Hall now, where all the trees are shaped in special ways.
Where was that, Tom?
It was on the way to Whitehaven. And it had a maze in there. I think a few of the Fords got lost in there.
Couldn't possibly be.
We sent Bondi in to get him out.
Oh. Yeah, that's the fellow that fell asleep during one game, wasn't it?
Well, after 2.5 months at Ilkley, most of us were packing up a lot of our surplus gear and sending it back home. We've now arrived in London. I'm not sure how we got to London first, but
Well, this looks like Trafalgar Square with all the pigeons there. And at Buckingham Palace with the changing of the guards. And the River Thames with Parliament Building on the right-hand side.
Westminster Abbey, Tom, is it?
Westminster Abbey, yeah, you're right, Don.
Significance of this.
So that was the stained glass windows for the Battle of Britain.
and here we are in Regent Street with the lights on for the Christmas festivities.
Yes, it was what? December, wasn't it?
That's right.
11th or 12th.
11th or 12th, yeah.
We're back in Piccadilly Circus at the moment.
So we arrived Sunday, left Tuesday. After Kenny McCracken had his 21st birthday party celebrated in London, I believe. We rolled a keg round the corner from the pub and up the streets and into somebody's place that we had a party at. Can you remember that, Tom?
I wasn't there.
Oh, were you back at the hotel?
That was my birthday too. We're at Dover now.
Old Tom was using a bit of editorial license there. We got that a little bit back to front, but in actual fact now we're back on track again, having left Ilkley by bus and headed for Dover, and now we're on the cross-channel ferry with the cliffs of Dover in the background and a few shots on the boat on the way over.
The sacrificial lamb.
Jimmy Bond.
We don't know what he did.
Neville Tiller, Ron Duffy, Dodger, Billy and Jimmy Bond again.
Now, Tom reckons this is a bit of Blackpool rock.
Looks like a French loaf to me.
No, it's red.
The boys are hoeing into it.
Some debate as to exactly where this canal was, barge. Some think it was Carcassonne, some think it's Toulouse.
It's coming up through the lock system.
I know where this is. This is the old city at Carcassonne. And most of us walked up there and had a look around. Here's a look back onto the city the town of Carcassonne from the battlements of the old city. Some of the fortifications around the outside of the old city with some of our players in the foreground.
At the drawbridge. Standing guard. Looks like Graham Kennedy and Jock, is it?
This is Foix. We passed.
How do you say that?
F-O-I-X.
Foix.
And there's another shot of it.
Yeah, this we think is St. Gaudens. Right, Tom?
I think you're right, Jack. Don.
A couple of fellas were supposed to have been renowned for dancing on tables at St. Gaudens, weren't they?
Don't know anything about that.
And we're not quite sure whether this is either. We think it might be Montpellier, and that's the back of the hotel.
With a pretty skinny little footpath.
There's Billy Snowden buying looks like some
Posing as a tourist.
oranges or something. market day, which seemed to be every day in France.
Yeah. And they bring all the chooks and cows to market.
We've got Gordon Dryden here and Graham Kennedy all yoked up for a bit of work.
Yeah, a couple of jokers on the yoke.
Looks like the Eiffel Tower to me.
Well done, Speedy.
There's the awful Eiffel again.
Again, a little bit of licence taken by Tom because the Paris bit came at the end of the tour
I wasn't far out.
before going back to London.
You were still in France anyway.
Oh, but of course.
Sacré-Cœur in Paris. About 10,000 steps to walk up if you wanted to go up there.
There's Tommy putting the final touches to his work of art.
That's in the Place de Tours. Just down from Montmartre.
It's at the Arc de Triomphe.
The Arc de Triomphe, you're right. And again.
The Eternal Flame.
It's the
Now Notre
Church of
Dame.
Notre Dame.
From the front and from the back.
Probably the more famous part of it.
Who is it, Tom?
Joan of Arc.
Who is it, Tom?
Venus de Milo.
He's a real historian, this guy, isn't he?
There we go.
Who's that, Jack?
I can't tell from the back, but the painting is the Mona Lisa.
Well, that's the Mona, all right.
And it's, if you've seen it, you'll certainly remember it because it's a magnificent piece of art. Pretty scruffy looking painting, but
And here we are arriving at Lourdes. We especially went there to see if we could cure Tom's leg.
And that's the Crowned Virgin.
and that's Lourdes itself, the basilica. And as you can see, it's wet.
It rained a lot in France, as I can remember.
I think that's where they get their holy water from.
The first week we trained, it rained every day.
And that's the Dome of the Rosary there, with a castle in the background.
No, that's not Tom.
I think it's Gordon Dryden, isn't it? And that's the grotto where the halt and the maim go to be cured, and there's a whole lot of crutches around. There's the shot of the year.
And Tom's knee is still not right. 30 years later.
Not enough faith.
Now we're up in the Pigalle.
Back to
Back
Paris.
Oh, Folly Pigalle. I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't go to any of those because I couldn't afford to.
The Moulin Rouge. What else can you see in there?
Well, I think there's a few things coming up.
There's the Nouvelle Eve Extravaganza.
Definitely couldn't afford to go there. Might be able to go and stand outside and have a look, but
Might be appropriate to say at this stage, if anybody can feel embarrassed about pornography, they should leave the room.
I think that's Tom on the left, isn't it?
yeah.
It is Tom.
Trying to hide my
Definitely.
face.
I don't know who that is.
That's Blondie.
Oh,
Did you take these shots, Tom?
Yes.
There's the Calais plage, well, just south of Perpignan, where all the South Islanders thought the water was magnificently warm. And here we are at Cannes, which is now on the other side of
at Tacone as well. The beach and all the big hotels and casinos in the background.
And most of them are shuttered up for the winter.
Yeah.
There's what's
No,
that?
it's Colin.
Colin coming away from the bookshop.
I hope it's not one of those bookshops.
That's a shot of the French countryside.
Well, we're in the south by the look of all that snow on the top of the mountains there, Tom. So we're probably heading for Perpignan way,
And a little bit of pollution.
as the Americans would say. Some slight eye irritation.
Jimmy Bond all set for a bit of work with the oxen to do a bit of ploughing. It's Neville Tiller over in the background inspecting to see if he's done a good job.
No, he's looking for coal. And the bus stopped on the side on those long highways through France with the trees on either side, and
Men hard at work here. Kiwis on tour. 95 training sessions in a period from August the 3rd until August the 9th.
What's happening here, Jack?
well, I don't know, looks as though the guy behind is having trouble. The bloke in front looks all right. That's a public toilet in France where actually it's quite a high one. They must have modified it.
This is a monument at St. Gaudens again. We must have been waiting for a bus to take us to training.
Either that or waiting for the brazier to open.
Yeah. Where the devil's this?
Somewhere in France.
Oh, this will be at Paris, will it? Training at Paris.
I think you're right. There's Jack in his red and white jersey there.
Must have pinched it from Wigan, did he?
And Jack getting a little bit of extra training in.
Looks as though he's punching the ball.
Reg Cook showing a lot of style. And he realised he had to get rid of it when he saw he was confronted by me there. Here's a perfect pass.
Going to the ground.
Perfect pass. They used to call me Flipper Fagan because of the beautiful flip passes I used to do.
Yeah, where was this at?
Well, I would say it's Saint-Gaudens because it looks small enough to be.
Oh,
Now, there's a bigger arena. We haven't done our homework, chaps. Where's this?
In France.
no, that was
Right.
probably...
There's Jock giving
Anton Blaine up there.
Roger a
Right
whisper in
next
the
to the
ear.
post. See Anton Blaine next to Sam.
There's Colin after he signed a big contract, I think.
Could have been payday here. Everybody clustered around. Here we are, Comet 4C, which was took us from London through Dusseldorf, Beirut, Baghdad, Rangoon, and on to Hong Kong. It's Dusseldorf there, and here we are. We've reached Hong Kong.
We had a few hilarious nights in Hong Kong, having rickshaw races around the streets. And we managed to spend the last of our money.
Our hard-earned £4 a week for those fellas that had to support families at home.
£9 for single men.
Yeah, all right for some.
The big spenders.
The cable car.
Still in Hong Kong.
Well, I didn't see much of Hong Kong because, as you may recall, I stayed in London for another month.
Oh yes, yes.
Were you hospitalised, Brian?
Purely on work on a work basis.
We left Hong Kong via Darwin and Manila to Sydney and travelled to Auckland on Teal.
Judge, which way do you want him, under or over the line? And the tackler is, and no doubt for picking his legs up, he couldn't help it, did he? 12 minutes gone, and it's Great Britain 8, New Zealand 19, and it certainly isn't Great Britain's day. Eric Ashton will be wondering what to do about all this. Can he pull 11 points back? It's got to be the brilliance of Murphy to do it. Terry Grade has had very little to do. Boston's had about 1 run score to try. Eric Ashton to Hallis. And it's a penalty for a arm tackle where the referee is having a word with Cook and Lee. There's Lee, Cook number 7. Alec Murphy will kick for touch. And it's very well taken right in the corner. Right in the corner, come round, there we are. 10 yards inside. The scrum must be always on the 10 yards mark. Now. Football. Great Britain. Murphy trying to dive over from the play ball, only about 2 yards. Great Britain need a try here to bring them really back into the game. Can Hallis go down the middle? Hallis is still going, but can't go very far without his legs. It's a good position. But Bolton can't get away from his opposite, Bond. Edgar had it. And have you noticed where they always slide down the legs and finish with their tackle around their ankles? Barton. Oh, and what about Bass? Boston. Now, Boston not had much of a run. And they're not going to get much of a run, as someone says. And the sun's shining, but it's shining for New Zealand at the moment. Murphy. Ankle tackles, but very effective. Get behind, play the ball. Had it. And I had it again. Nobody wants it. Had it going away. Had it going on one of those long runs. Can he regain his balance? He's dropped it. Ashton's got a chance if he can get it out to Boston. Boston's one man to beat. Boston's into the corner. Boston's in for, is it? Yes. Billy Boston, after Huddett and Ashton had made it, right in the far corner. There's the scorer. And Billy Boston wants me to tell you that he's only 27 years of age. He doesn't consider that a veteran age. Billy Boston, with 15 minutes gone, puts England on to the, well, in with a chance. Let's put it that way at the moment. Quarter of an hour gone. That means there's exactly 30 minutes left for play. You can see how near to the spectator Austin Rhodes is. Well, there's the distance he's got to kick it, and it's got to go between those two uprights. The longest uprights in rugby league football, or probably any rugby football. Austin Rhodes, a good goal kicker, but not being good today. Well, and he wasn't good there either. So 1911. 30 minutes to go. Sorry, I missed a minute. 25 minutes to go. Well, now this next 5 minutes, I think, is going to be possibly, or next 10 minutes, maybe the deciding factor of this match. 8 points, 2 tries and 2 goals, and Britain will be in front, but so far they haven't looked like being on top for any real length of time. 1911, Brian McTighe, the wonderful ball purveyor. Gets as many men round him before he passes to Brian Edgar, a Cumbrian. Haven't seen Edgar a lot today. Oh, it's a long pass to Ashton. He's taking it inside to Hallis. Hallis is a local lead boy, so he gets 2 extra cheers. But the cheers have been for New Zealand. Oh, and Bonds pinched the ball. Manga Emery, oh, interception, no, it's come off, fortunately for Emery. Murphy nearly jumped to get it. He did jump, but nearly got it. Malcook, the kick, unusual thing, and a good kick by Hammond. Right into the heart of the English defence, Great Britain defence, 25 line. (1911) for the visitors. What a performance this will be if they go with a victory against Great Britain. Their keen tackling is so marked, a lively bunch of lads they are. Ashton. Ball loose. Ball, but... And it's Cook. Cook's a chance for a try. Oh, he slipped. Oh, he's up, he's in. He's in. Mel Cook, the vice-captain of the side, two goes at it, but he got it in the end. Well, there's Mel Cook, a happy lad without his teeth, but a happy lad. And one of the successors of this tour, no wonder he's blowing harder than climbing post scoring tries, I should think, with that opposition. Well done, Cook, and it takes New Zealand past the 20 mark, 22 points to 11. Well, John Fagan, the fullback goal kicker. John is very interested in golf, hence his precision planting of the ball, and very slow walk back. Look how slowly he walks, it picks his legs up. There's a touch line, he's over the touch line, he's out of play now. He's back into play, and it's a very, very good goal indeed. Well, there's the kicker who's been a very successful goal kicker this afternoon, John Fagan. 21 minutes left for play. And New Zealand are 24 and Great Britain are 11. Bolton. And this is scrum down because the ball went into touch off the player. Had he gone straight in, it would have been a scrum back on the halfway line. So there's the 48-stone front three of New Zealand against the 50-stone front three of Great Britain. Murphy, can he get into his stride? Bolton. Oh. Bit of a high tackle. Come on, let him play it. Turner, a long one to Hurdert, a long one to Murphy. Tighe, still going, and he's lost the ball. Well, with exactly halfway through the second half, New Zealand at 24, Great Britain at 11, and away goes Donny Hammond, the skipper, bashing his head around inside to Cook. Cook's got Bond inside him. Bond's got Snowden with him, and still he goes. Snowden still running. Cook's into the corner as he turns it back into Snowden. And almost through, but good defensive work by Great Britain. Good cover work. Butterfield, the hooker, Mel Cook, the last cut. Eric Ashton, interception. Well, if Eric could have got away there to get Boston a run, we might have seen some Boston fireworks. There is Boston. With the attention of three, which way do you want him? Turner, Egger still striding. He's got 35 yards to run. Oh, it must be a penalty. Penalty to Great Britain for New Zealand kicking before they get a chance to play the ball. And a very slow play the ball too, but it's retained possession for Great Britain. Long one to Hurdert. Again, the sun is coming out, but it's New Zealand who are on top. Terry O'Grady has now, who's going to play that ball? How? Ashton, going to get it to Boston inside, and he's still going inside to Boston. But Barton, his Wigan colleague, has got it, played it again. Murphy, Turner, now farthing. There's an overlap for Great Britain here. China must let the ball go. Hollis has got it. Kicking to the ball a little too much. Edgar to Rhodes. Losing ground with the pass in, and what a burying tackle by Emery. Edgar, Murphy, Barton. Tag. There. Johnny Hammond, the captain, playing his best game on tour without any doubt. Bolton. Bolton trying to accelerate through the gap. Murphy. Inside to Ashton, a nice slip pass. Ashton to Boston. Oh, and a great tackle by Fagan with Boston in full stride. That takes some doing, but it's a chance for Great Britain. McTighe can't get his pass in. He usually does. He has done. Barton, can he push them over? That's the one way he might get over. Right under the post. Bolton, accelerate on your own. Oh, Murphy, a bad pass. Ashton's over, but it won't be a try. Knock on. Ashton, the skipper, no doubt a very worried man with his team down 24-11. And what have we got left for play? We've just 16 minutes left for play. Three points for a try, 2 points for a goal, and it's Murphy down. Well, there it is, Murphy. Quick, come across with it. So it's Alice down on his knees. Rhodes, Austin Rhodes, full back. Bolton. Well, they're certainly passing the ball about, but not getting very far with it. O'Grady's got to go on his own, he must. And O'Grady's left it. And this is a chance for New Zealand. Away goes Lee inside to Tommy Hatfield. Well taken, well pushed off, and intercepted by Austin Rhodes. And Fagan full-back tackled Rhodes full-back. And the New Zealanders have still a lot of fitness in them. Billy Boston, come into the centre, come into the middle. Edgar, Brian Edgar. And it's a penalty for Great Britain, for Bond, who's going to get a word of warning from the referee for not allowing the Great Britain player to play the ball. And Lee is injured. And a little to our left, Eric Clay is walking to see the injured player. There is the boy on the ground, Brian Lee. Brian Lee, the second row forward. It looks like his knee. Well, I hope nobody has to go off, but no, he's staying on. He didn't even need the magic sponge. Alec Murphy kicking on our side of the field for well kicked. "13 points to make up. Can Great Britain do it? At a point a minute, they could. But the signs are that New Zealand have still a lot of football ability in them and a very fit side. I would have thought there might have been offside. Now, oh, he's offside. He is. I thought the other part was offside. Oh, he's given a penalty against Derek Turner. Talking to Derek Turner, number 13, I think, for kicking. He wouldn't talk to him for being offside, it would be for kicking. And nobody, Eric Clay doesn't like anyone to talk back to him. Call him Sergeant Major in the inner circles. He's got a twist on the ball, straight to Terry O'Grady. Terry has nearly lost sight of the ball. Oh. Turner. Hallis and Boston is now back. I thought Boston to go. Oh, it's an interception. Murphy playing it back to Brian McTighe. Dick Haddad, can he get down the middle? You remember Dick Haddad possibly in the Wembley Cup final with those long runs down the middle. 12 minutes left for play. And it's Great Britain 11, New Zealand 24. And David Bolton is hurt. And on comes Paddy Armour, the Great Britain physiotherapist. And there's number 6, Davy Bolton from Wigan. David Bolton broke his collarbone in a test match in Australia in '58 and is really making a comeback instead of Frank Myler, who played in the World Cup. Somebody in the crowd says, take him off. Well, as David stays on, he's limping badly. And somebody, oh yes, Brian Lee's getting a strapping on his foot. So if you see a man in white around the feet, it's Brian Lee. That's Mal Cook loose forward. Not in, out to New Zealand. They're getting the ball better too than what I thought. Oh, away goes Mal Cook, the loose forward dumb in. Oh, it must be a forward pass. Well, it's amazing to me how New Zealand have got the ball. They probably are tight. I look at the scrum here with the Maori front three. There's the New Zealand playing in their dark traditional jerseys. There, the New Zealand, the Maori boy, number 23, Edwards. Murphy trying to stride away. Number of taps have been made around the bootlaces. Ashton. I really ought to give you the names of the tacklers all the time because they're going straight into the defensive play of the New Zealand Barton. 10 minutes left and it's Great Britain behind by 13 points. Boston on the burst. Boston on the burst, and that's something. Well tackled Fagan. This boy Fagan had a very good game indeed. Not the fastest of men, but he's a pretty safe tackler. It's a long one. New Zealand are covering. Ashton's going on his own inside to Hallis. Can Hallis come off it? Oh, and another tackle by Fagan. Well, Great Britain are putting on the strength now. Now this is a chance for Hutter to go on his own. Well, this is the greatest tackling lesson any youngster could want to see by the New Zealanders. Round the leg, and Murphy's going in, is he? No, Murphy's passed it and he's lost it. Right on the line. I thought Murphy was over. Nobody supporting him. And just relieved the pleasure because Austin Rhodes is well up with the ball, well up with the plane. He's having to go back for it, and he's been tackled by Reedy nearly. Yes. Well, what a relief from 15 yards inside the Great Britain half from under the post. And what an awful lot of running Great Britain's had to do to come back. And to run all that way takes a lot of the breath out of you. And this crowd are certainly very pro-New Zealand. I wonder if it's because there's only one Leeds player in the side. You never can tell with football crowds. McTighe, Damin. Well, how near Great Britain were to pull in a 5 points of that 13 points deficiency down. 8 minutes left. Edgar, Brian Edgar. Edgar's his surname. Cumberland captain, another Cumbrian, Dick Haddad. Lancaster, Eric Ashton, and Hallis is right into the arms of the receiving committee. Well, must let the ball go. Sayre let it go to Eric Ashton. Ashton still going. Sayre still going, is he? Well, if he gets his pedals going. Well, the New Zealanders have been called amateurs. But for amateurs, they're very good professionals. Inside to Edgar. 10 yards out. Great Britain want to try here badly. Barden, he's got to push his way over if he can. Right in the shadow of the post. 7 minutes left for play. Dick Huddart must go in. He mustn't, he isn't. He'll only be inches off, and he's about 6'1" as Dick. He could have dived the rest. And Great Britain have lost the ball again. Well, 2 long spells of attacking, nothing to show for it, and it's New Zealand saving the day and the ball instead. And it's a penalty for New Zealand for kicking to the play the ball. Well, there's one thing certain, this test series between Great Britain and New Zealand is going to be wide open and a great lot of interest now, because Great Britain must win the next test to keep the thing for the 3rd test, and the ball's coming to us. But it's just gone over the top, thank goodness, and it's Great Britain 11, New Zealand 24. 6 minutes left for play. Well, I think I was probably one of 2 people who gave New Zealand any chance at all. They certainly come up to more expectations. Murphy on his own, but he's got to pass the ball. Hallett. Ashton. Boston to Turner to Murphy on the burst. Murphy dancing and dodging like a ballet dancer. Oh, did an extra man if they let the ball go. Oh, and David Bolton's dropped it. Fagan's got it. Inside to Donny Hammond. Outside to Tommy Hatfield. Tommy Hatfield, very strong right winger, got a very good try at an important time. And with 5 minutes left for play, Donny Hammond, the captain, wait, Donny Hammond shakes his head in. He lost it then. Shakes his head in. An effort to get through. Emery, he ducks his head. Butterfield, Bond through his legs. But it's not a knock-on. Snowden. And the ball is loose. And Great Britain have it. Barton, a short one to McTighe, and Great Britain look a tired lot at the moment. Bolton to Hallis, the crowded, and Hallis has left it behind him. And typical of number 12, Bond, keeping the ball going to the last. And there's Brian Lee, who was injured with his strapping, or what it was. Yes, he's not going to go for that. 4 minutes left for play. Bond, there could be another try from New Zealand. Four tries New Zealand, 3 tries Great Britain. Reedy, but it's got to come back. Scrum down, and we'll see who gets this ball, because I have a feeling that New Zealand have been getting far more ball possession than one would expect them to do in a match of this description. Well, there's a scrum. Eventually, Snowden will put the ball in. It's in. And it's out to New Zealand, but it's a penalty, because penalty to Great Britain, I think possibly handing out or putting his own feet. There's only about 33 infringements round the scrum, so it was one of them anyway. 3 minutes left for play. Murphy kicks for touch. We have had one or probably 2 injury breaks, but not for long duration. Well, there's a touch judge with the flag up. Can Britain bring back 1 try? that I would think is their last chance, or very near the last chance. Murphy out to O, and it's a bad one, Alec. Bolton got it. Boston coming in seeking work. Hallis. Terry O'Grady, number 5, taking the dummy half. He'll see no little of the ball that he's got him for it. Oh dear, didn't anybody want it? And away goes Reedy. Boston's in him. A brilliant tackle, a brilliant ball taken by Snowden. And it, well, that's the type of play that New Zealand have been given it. Right to the last, and they're in for a try. Is it? Yes, it's a try to Donny Hammond with 2 minutes left for play. Donny Hammond, who was nearly dropped from this team because he's not had a great season, has restored all his own confidence in his team manager with a try at the end of this. Donny Hammond, who's now sporting a moustache. Well, what brilliant football. Well, from Great Britain possession, bad passing on there in the New Zealand 25 line, right down to the other side of the field. 27-11. Well, the crowd give the New Zealanders the ovation they deserve, and Fagan, who has kicked 6 goals, there he is, right on the touchline side. The little fellow in the cap could probably hold it for him if he fell over. 1 minute left, and he's not going to hurry. He never does, but he can kick goals. If he kicks this, it'll be a beauty. And it's a beauty! Well, no wonder he's a very happy man, is John Fagan, this fullback who has done an awful lot on this tour. Never done anything better than that. This score is very near to what New Zealand did here on their last trip. 28-13 then, 29-11 now. And no doubt in their worthiness of this success. And it will certainly make their tour complete. Whatever happens to the Test series, there's 2 to go, of course. Certainly it will make the Test an interesting possibility for them, even if they lose the next. Well, according to our timekeeper, it's extra time. We're playing in injury time. And away goes this fellow, Donny Hammond. And they're all wanting the ball. I mean, all New Zealand players. Well, they've started to learn Maori songs. The non-Maoris that can sing Ilkley Mo Bartat in Maori language, and believe you me, that's something, and I'll better get tripped back in tonight. I'll cook. And one. Snowden to Bond. Well, it's certainly a dramatic match for New Zealand to come and beat the mighty. Knocked on. Can Bolton go and score a last-minute try? Extra time try. New Zealand has scored almost before it was 3 o'clock. Kick-off seconds early, possibly, and they scored in the first 30 seconds. May score after time should have been called. Eric Ashton. Well taken, Brian Egger, but couldn't get it away. Tag. Well, we're well into extra time according to our timing. Tag. Short one, the long one into Barton. Well, the referee has not yet looked at his watch, but certainly we have. The longer we play this match, I don't think it's going to prove anything beyond that one or two of these players, and there I think the whistle goes for time, and it's a very greatly elated New Zealand crowd jumping up and down, and a very, very sporting crowd giving them a great handshake and a clap as they rush onto the field to pat their backs. Well, there it is. The first test has gone surprisingly but worthily to Great Britain, to New Zealand. To New Zealand with the score, New Zealand 29. Great Britain 11 is the first test. 2 yet to go. So from Headingley, Leeds, we'll say good afternoon.